Maybe he was there. That's so specific. Something else, Drum Master Lee.
And Lulu.
All right, Lulu. I got something a little bit different than before, but I saw this song and this artist always at the top of every reactor's like best of. And I'm like, how is it that we don't know this? Like, I get the Beatles, right? And I get, I get something like maybe Tupac, right? But no, Gordon Lightfoot is his name. And this song, The Wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald, sounds like something I would never remember. I literally had to look it up twice. And I'm like, what the hell was this song about? But I guess it's a real song about a real event. Like he's telling the story about like a ship that was called the Edmund Fitzgerald, and it sank. Apparently one of the worst ship tragedies that ever happened.
Worse than Titanic?
I don't know. I don't think, no. I think Titanic's on a whole nother level. But he didn't write that song, so this is the one we got to react to, all right?
Okay.
So, yeah.
Gordon.
But, yeah, apparently this was a big song, and everyone who reacts always gets great views. I'm like, okay, one is, I want to know what the song is now, and the second, I would like to get the views, so... Let's go for it. And I found a version. So this is not the one where he's performing it, but it's the one with the lyrics because I get a feeling there's a story here.
Yes, we need to understand.
I want to know what the song is about. I get a feeling it's on the lines.
It's going to be so sad.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. Yeah.
Aww.
Maybe that's why. I mean, who sings a song about a shipwreck that makes it a happy anthem?
No, you can make it rock and roll, right? Faster beat or
you're right. I do remember there was a rock and roll song about the Titanic at one point. I don't remember who sang it, but
oh my gosh.
All right, let's check it out. By the way, want to hear some more Wicked Wild stories? Make sure you subscribe.
And if you want some hotness, check out my fantasy show only for my fans.
That's a pretty big ship. That's a really big
cargo.
ship.
It's a cargo. Is that a cargo?
A lot of people
The
die.
legend lives on from the Chippewa on down at the big lake they call Gitchagumi. The lake, it is said, never gives up her dead when the skies of November turn gloomy. With a load of iron ore, 26,000 tons more than the Edmund Fitzgerald weighed empty. That good ship and true was a bone to be chewed when the gales of November came early.
This is a unexpected song. It feels almost like a folksy, like a ship shanty kind of song. Like sailors would sing this kind of song almost. Like he's kind of channeling a little bit of that, like pirates singing. Like I can see sailors singing something like this.
That's true. That's true. But this reminds me of my brother.
Oh, maybe, yeah. Well, your brother's safe, baby. His ship ain't going to sink. Although it's a very similar ship, though, that he's on.
The ship was the pride of the American side, coming back from some mill in Wisconsin. As the big freighters go, it was bigger than most, with a crew and good captain well seasoned, concluding some terms with a couple of steel firms when they left fully loaded for Cleveland. Then later that night when the ship's bell rang, could it be the north wind they'd been feeling? The wind in the wires made a tattletale sound, and the wave broke over the railing. And every man knew, as the captain did too, 'twas the witch of November come stealing. The dawn came late and the breakfast had to wait when the gales of November came slashing. When afternoon came, it was freezing rain in the face of a hurricane west wind.
It does feel like a really old song, but it feels like a very modern ship. Like this is the kind of ship that would still be even sailing today. Mm-hmm. I'm having a hard time believing this song did so well.
And who can relate, yeah? So it's like...
I know. It must have been something that was very personal to him. I don't know what the story is, but like to write something like this meant a lot to him, I think.
Maybe he was there?
on the ship, and he's the sole survivor.
But how come he's telling the story, the whole
I don't
story?
know. It's like he knows everything.
Like, yeah, like he was there.
When supper time came, the old cook came on deck saying, fellas, it's too rough to feed you. At 7 p.m. a main hatchway caved in. He said, fellas, it's been good to know you.
Aww.
Maybe he was there. That's so specific.
Coming in, and the good ship and crew was in peril. And later that night, when his lights went out of sight, came the wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald. Does anyone know where the love of God goes when the waves turn the minutes to hours? The searchers all say they'd have made Whitefish Bay if they'd put 15 more miles behind her. They might have split up or they might have capsized. They may have broke deep and took water. And all that remains is the faces and the names of the wives and the sons and the daughters. Lake Huron rolls, Superior sings in the rooms of her ice water mansion. Old Michigan steams like a young man's dreams. The islands and bays are for sportsmen.
This did not happen on the ocean. This has happened in one of the Great Lakes, up where our cousin lives. It's a big lake. Like,
It's a lake?
going across it is like going across the ocean. But yeah, this is up north where it's cold. But it's the Great
So
Lakes.
it must be very.
It must
like
have been
the wind
super
and-
windy and like typhoon-like
What?
conditions of sinking. I don't know. I mean, we need to look it up afterwards of why it sank. But it's shocking a ship that big would sink in an environment like that.
Yeah.
And farther below Lake Ontario takes in what Lake Erie can send her. The iron boats go, as the mariners all know, with the gales of November remembered. In a musty old hall in Detroit they prayed in the Maritime Sailors Cathedral. The church bell chimed till it rang 29 times for each man on the Edmund Fitzgerald.
29 of them.
The legend lives on from the Chippewa down of the big lake they call Gitchagumi. Superior, they said, never gives up her dead when the gales of November come early.
I really love this song. It really is a beautiful story told, and just so captivating to hear him sing about this.
I still don't know if he was in there.
I don't
But
think
I
he
don't
was.
think so.
I mean, why would be the one guy who got away? It just happens to be a singer. It sounds like they had a lot of detail what went down, though. And in fact, I think he even revealed some of it while he was singing, right? He was saying, like, in November, there's big winds, right? So that's something that they've known about ever since, like, for centuries and centuries. Like, even the old Indians who lived here knew that. But I guess the winds came early, and so they didn't expect it. Yeah, so when they went out this time, it was, boom, that was it. So
You guys, this is so like emotional for me because my brother is a marine engineer and they're in the middle of the ocean for 9 months.
it is tossing you around like a rag doll. And I've always wondered, like, all right, what happens if too much water does come in? Because I guess maybe that's what happened here. Like, the winds, like, if they teeter to the side enough and enough water comes in, yeah, you sink. That's it. Game over.
So scary. But he's saying there's a good technology now that they can detect ahead of time.
Because sometimes,
No, but there's a rescue. If it happens, there's a quick rescue for them or people would know. Unlike before, there's no communication, right?
well, let's put it this way. If your ship goes down and you hear, all right, rescue's coming in 24 hours, I can tell you this. I ain't surviving treading water for 24 hours. I would give it a good solid 30 minutes of effort and it'd be glub, glub, glub after that.